Hey everybody, Sarah Eggleston with John L. Scott. Welcome back to This Week in Housing. Been doing these updates for every few weeks, 3 p.m. on Fridays, and I'll continue to do so for the foreseeable future until things stop changing so rapidly. Anyways, we'll go ahead and just jump right into it. Get my screen shared. All right. So, This Week in Housing, welcome back. So in the news this week, as of today, facial coverings are required throughout the state, and that is for both indoor and outdoor public areas. This is not restricted to real estate. This is everyone. Children under 2 are not don't have to wear a mask. If you have health conditions that prevent you from wearing a mask, you're not required to do so. And you can take your mask off to eat, drink, or communicate with somebody who is deaf or hard of hearing. However, if you do not fall into any of those categories, you do need to wear a mask when out in public. And it could be a misdemeanor charge and a fine up to $100 or 90 days in county jail. So wear your masks. It's not that hard. As far as mortgage rates, still low. The 30-year still remains at an all-time low. It hit the all-time low last week, and we are still there. So if you are thinking about refinancing your home and you haven't started that process yet, it's a really great time to start. Or if you're looking at buying a home, getting pre-approved right now is a good idea, because really, I mean, even compared to a year ago, you can afford a whole lot more, even if all of your qualification details are exactly the same. As far as market activity for what's happening in our area, you can see that we're still getting quite a few new listings. I'll go ahead and jump to the combined. So 933 new listings in King County this past 7 days. 12,052 or 1,252 pendings and 679 sold. So if we add those numbers to our graph here, this is kind of what we're looking like. You can see that the pendings is still far above where the new listings are. And but the new listings are gradually making that climb up on the inventory levels, which is great because we have been low on inventory since the beginning of the year. And when coronavirus hit, people took their homes off the market and it was crazy. There was no inventory for a little while there. It was really hard for buyers that needed to find a home. So there's a little more inventory out there now. If you look, this is comparing this year to last year on the new listings. This is for the entire MLS. So you can see that as far as new listings, we're still pretty far below where we were last year. And pendings has gone higher than we were last year. So this is signifying a very hot market. Buyers, you do need to be very prepared for if you're going to go make an offer in this environment. Work with your real estate agent, have a plan in place, and otherwise you might be losing out on some offers. It's important to have that plan dialed in. However, if you're looking to list right now, you can see demand is very high for the small amount of homes that are on the market. So that is a good thing. As far as showing activity, we're down a little bit from where we were last week, but really not much, really not much. This time last year, we were actually almost over 8% higher on showing levels than we were this time last year. And part of that's probably due to the fact that there are no open houses. So if you're wanting to see a property, you have to get an agent to let you in. So that'll add to these data points. Whereas if it was an open house, you might get, 30 people through there with only one key unlock. And if we bring the showing data a little bit more localized, this is from our local MLS, so basically Western Washington. And you can see that we're staying pretty consistent on the showing levels here as far as where we were last year and where we were last week. So oh, we are still live. Cool. I thought I lost you there. Okay. I just lost my share screen. Sorry for this hiccup here, guys. Okay. So we covered the Keybox activity. So this is available listings. And you can see that the available listings for 2018 and 2019 were far above where we were in where we are in 2020. And there's just as many buyers out there on the market, or pretty close. So yeah, this is just showing how desperate we are for listings. And as more Americans get back to work, this is from the National Association of Realtors research, as more Americans get back to work, we are starting to see both buyers and sellers returning to the market, creating the beginnings of what we believe is a V-shaped recovery in the housing sector. So a lot of economists have been talking about the V-shaped recoveries, or what type of recovery we're kind of looking for. There's been a lot of people that say it's going to be a V. There's people that say it's going to be like a W, where it will go up and then down and then back up. So the economists are really not coming to an agreement about what we're going to see. However, oh, lights. However, a lot of them do believe that we're going to be rebounding pretty quickly in a V shape, or like a Nike swoosh is what they're calling it. And as far as layoffs in Washington, layoffs actually increased, according to this data, in Washington state by 4.9% from the week before. But you can see, as a general rule, it spiked up and then went down, and we've kind of been zigzagging back and forth on our unemployment levels, but gradually making our way back towards our normal. The first stage of the recovery looks V-shaped, as I mentioned before. After bottoming out in April, economic activity has continued to rise into early June, according to a range of private data. The L-shaped recovery, in which activity stays depressed, now looks remote. So that's good. That, like, the L-shaped recovery is exactly what we do not want in. That's what happened in 2008, where it was like it crashed and then just stayed at the bottom. But we are already seeing a little bit of increase in our economic activity. So we think it'll be a V shape. And this was very interesting to see. This is related to the lower interest rates. This is the percentage of income needed for a mortgage payment, and it has decreased dramatically as mortgage rates have fallen. So you can see in June 2018, it took 18.2% of income on average people spent towards their mortgage, where now it's 14.6%. So that is great to see. Mortgage rates are still really low. And this is kind of hint of what will happen possibly in the future as far as housing trends. Nearly 30% of respondents in this study living in high density urban areas say that the pandemic is prompting them to want to move by the end of the year. So a lot of the tech companies out there are giving their employees the option to work from home indefinitely. So that's kind of what drew people to cities a lot anyway. I mean, some people really like the lifestyle, being able to walk to restaurants and not have a car, and they like the lifestyle of that high density living. But for the majority, for a lot of people, 30%, I guess, probably, they were living there to reduce their commute. So if they don't have to commute to work anymore, they can move out to the suburbs, have a larger property, have a little room to stretch out. And so that is kind of what we're expecting to see, is people a slightly lower desire to live in the high density urban areas and more desire to live in the suburban. And so since the pandemic altered what buyers value in their homes, builders are predicting how future homes will change as a result. So this is also looking forward. People are spending a lot more time in their homes, realizing what they need in a home that they don't have. And they're predicting that builders will move away from the open concept plans and have more walls and doors with privacy for those, Zoom calls and all that, where you're on video talking with people. A lot more people working from home, wanting that home office. There'll be a lot more spaces that you can close yourself into to work quietly. And that is it for this week. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm here to help. I really do enjoy talking about real estate, helping people navigate the process. So if you are interested in buying or selling a home, just let me know. I'd be happy to talk you through the process and let you know kind of what steps you need to take first. And thank you again for joining me. I will be here again next week at 3 p.m. Hopefully we won't have any power issues at that point in time. But I will be back here at 3 p.m. on Friday for the foreseeable future. Thanks again for joining me. This is This Week in Housing with Sarah Eggleston, and have a fantastic weekend. Enjoy the sunshine.